Did you know about the Bitcoin all-time low, where you make 100 X's? Welcome! Would you like to learn what is the potential bottom figure for Bitcoin? If you're watching most of the technical analysts in cryptocurrency right now, everybody is trying to say whether the bottom is in or whether it is not in. And there is a division of, I would say, 50-50, where 50% of the technical community are saying the Bitcoin bottom is in, and 50% are saying that the bottom is not in. And in this video, I'm going to be presenting you with a potential bottom figure backed by evidence. Backed by evidence. You do not want to miss this video, because there is a ton of speculation around at the moment, and it is important to know if Bitcoin has bottomed. Why? Because that is where you can get the best ever prices of altcoins. You do not even need Bitcoin to hit an all-time low, or should I say a local low of under 17,500 to get the best altcoin prices that we have seen in years. However, should Bitcoin go below 17,500, which I predict it will, then you are going to get arguably the best ever prices for altcoins. And I am talking about prices like these, if you can see them. And these are very ambitious numbers. So if you're excited to learn what that potential bottom figure is, make sure you smash a like on this video so I know you love this kind of information. Also, join nearly 113,000 followers in Team Suppo. Make sure you join and be part of Team Suppo, the most woke, the most intelligent, the most knowledgeable people in cryptocurrency. Another thing I'm going to be talking about in this video is what can we expect from the Fed meeting and the potential bearish scenarios that are going to be coming up for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in the next week. We're going to be discussing all of that. This is going to be one not to miss. So as a result of that, I am going to make sure I share this over to the good people of Twitter to let them know that the Suppoman is live. So we're going to be looking at a potential bottom figure. And I would be very keen to know what you guys think. And I know you guys are opinionated. And I also know that everybody has an opinion in the crypto land, no matter how unknowledgeable they are. And there are a lot of people severely lacking knowledge and experience that are saying, oh, a bottom's in, a bottom's in. I just don't buy it. I don't understand it. I do not understand why people think a bottom is in. But people do. And people like to be very optimistic. But me, having been around for quite a while in cryptocurrency, I know you're typically waiting around a while before the worst happens. And yes, there is a lot of evidence that there has been a hell of a lot of capitulation events going on since we topped the market in November last year, nearly 70k. And we have gone down to 17.5k from 70k. That's huge. So I understand why people are imagining that there is going to, that we have potentially hit a bottom. I can see why. But what people are completely ignoring is the history of where Bitcoin has bottomed before. And it has never, ever bottomed during a recession. And a recession is very, very likely, I'd say, inevitable. So anyway, if you watch my last video, which I did exactly a week ago, you will see that Bitcoin was actually right at the top of this range here. And I still had this, I suppose, this prediction, this predictor of prices still drawn up, which I drew about a month ago based on the various calendar events that are going to be coming up that are likely to affect the cryptocurrency prices. And in this particular instance, in Bitcoins, for Bitcoin. So, as you can see now, the price of Bitcoin is actually following this steep drop. There has been in 1 week a steep drop. And I was saying a week ago, do not buy. Buy at lows. Buy it if you're going to buy at lows. Do not buy at highs. People were saying, I'm getting itchy feet, I'm getting itchy fingers. I want to buy, I want to buy, I want to buy. Do not buy when there's highs. No. When there's highs, people are going to be like, oh, the bit at the bottom's in, buy now, price is going to get a 30k, 40k. And that's what we had in the last week. We've had various influencers say, oh, we're going to hit 48k and stupid figures, right? I mean, let's be intelligent about this. And as a result, look what's happened. Look what has happened. So, what we have got coming up, literally in the next couple of days, is we've got two important dates. Tomorrow is going to be one of the key dates. Tomorrow is when we are going to hear about the interest rate hike update. So, obviously, as a inflation figure, we've hit 9.1, a 41-year high in terms of inflation. So, this is going to lead to an increase in the current interest rate. So it's either going to be a maintenance of 75 basis points or 0.75%, which is what people are actually generally expecting. There's the potential of 100 basis points, which is 1% added on to the overall interest rate. And that would signal aggressiveness in the battle to control inflation. And that would have an incredibly hard impact on cryptocurrency. I think that what we are having right now is a pricing in of 75 basis points. That is why we haven't dropped like we dropped last month, where basically before the FOMC meeting, we basically dumped $10,000. We dumped $10,000 from 30k to 20k last month. Now, if we were to get an increase again, then I would actually think that the price would go down lower, but I don't think people are expecting for 100 basis points. They're expecting for 75, and as a result of that, we haven't seen the steep drop. But that is tomorrow. That is what's going to be announced tomorrow, July 27th. On July 28th is when we are going to hear the results of quarter 2 for GDP figures for the US. And should we have a second quarter of negative growth, then that is a potential precursor to a recession. People are saying it's a definition, others are not. It's not a definition of a recession, but it is a precursor to a recession. So if we have 2 consecutive negative quarters for GDP for the US, then it is a soft, essentially it's like a kind of paper recession, but not an actual announced recession. Now, that is going to be July 28th. I do expect 75 basis points. I think the market has accurately kind of priced that in. But in conjunction with the 75 basis points, a soft recession, essentially. And then over the coming week, there is going to be an announcement of quarter 2 earnings for the big corporations. And these 3 events in conjunction have not, I don't believe, been priced in. One has been priced in. This is 75 basis points. This is what I think has been priced in. But I think that if we have a load of well-known companies that are in the negative, then it's very, very likely we are going to see further falling, and we are probably going to see a new bottom. We're going to possibly see a new going below 17.5. Now, this is the first time I'm going to be offering opinion on this. So Elon Musk, Tesla has actually sold 75% of the Bitcoin that Tesla held. Okay, so they had about according to this, 1.3 billion dollars worth of Bitcoin, and they have dumped 936 million. Now, they didn't just sell it. They sold it when Bitcoin was around about 30k, I think. I think it was around about the time of Terra Luna, around about that time. So they didn't actually sell now. So they haven't sold a huge loss. I think it's reported they actually sold at a profit, but it's the reason why they have sold. Essentially, the reason why they have sold is because of the supply chain issues in China and them having a potential liquidity shock with not having their Bitcoin sold. So they sold it to provide liquidity during what is going to be a very tough time for Tesla, and is going to be, this is, I think, a sign of the times for most big organizations. I did actually have a super chat, so let me just answer that before I go any further. In your opinion, bottom this year or next year? I think that the likelihood is that we're probably going to see the ultimate bottom next year. All right, but I don't necessarily think that we have already bottomed for this year, though. I think there is a lot of potential for the price to go lower. Now, guys, at the moment we've got 86 likes, 300 people watching. If we can get to over 120 likes, I will provide you with this bottoming figure. I think it's very, very important to get to the news as soon as possible. And yeah, and I'm going to be providing you with a new figure which is backed by actual evidence. There has been a lot of various technical influencers in cryptocurrency that have used previous bottoming signals or previous bottoming indicators to predict that we have already bottomed. So they are using actual evidence or some form of evidence to back up their scenario. So it's not me just necessarily saying there's going to be a case of, right, it's this number without any actual evidence, right? This is going to be hard-ish evidence, okay? So we went over 133. So let me just get right into the meat and potatoes, all right? So this circle, this circle, this circle, and this circle were perfect bottom predictions. They were perfect bottom indicators. And there were particular events that took place on each of these bottoming dates. They are the miner cost of production falling below the actual, or falling is actually being above the price of Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin price drops below the cost of production. This was in mid-October 2011, during the first ever cycle of Bitcoin before the first halving. Okay, so mid-October, which was around about here. All right, this was the first time that the Bitcoin price fell below the cost of production, and that was the bottoming event. Mid-October, the 16th of October, when Bitcoin was at $2.14. Okay, now it did fall slightly further to $1.97, but this circle pretty much shows you the bottom in 2011. The next time that happened was in 2015, when the Bitcoin's value dropped below production cost. So if we have a look, it was mid-January 2015 that Bitcoin fell below the cost of production. Okay, so if we have a look, so mid-January, 15th of January 2015, Bitcoin hit $168, having had its first topping after the first halving. So after the first halving, had a top, which was $1,200, and then it bottomed at 165. The day it bottomed was the day that the Bitcoin price fell below the cost of production. All right? Perfect bottom indicator, because the price never again hit that low. And then if we go after the second halving it happened in mid-December. Okay, so here we go. So in mid-December 2018, Bitcoin's price was lower than production costs again at $3,200. So we can see that right here. Mid-December, 14th of December, Bitcoin hit 3,124. The bottom after 20k had been hit. But there was another time. And that was the COVID crash. 2020. Furthermore, March 12th, 2020, again, the price of Bitcoin fell below production costs. And that was here, right here, the bottom. Again, the 12th of March, exactly $4,000 that Bitcoin hit. These are important dates. The 4 times that Bitcoin went below the cost of production were the 4 bottoming events. There we are. So what does that tell us about the next bottoming event? Well, the current cost of Bitcoin, the cost of production, is $13,000. So the price was, so when this article was written, which was in February 2022, when we were looking at the minor capitulation number, essentially, those are the 4 bottoms that we have had. At that time, the cost of production was $34,000. But the cost of production has gone down because of better mining equipment that doesn't need as much electricity to run. So people have been able to pivot into cheaper cost of producing and mining Bitcoin. So the cost of mining Bitcoin now is $13,000 compared to who you talk to. Okay, so I've spoken to people who say the cost is about 18, 17,000, and others are saying 13. So the average is about 13,000. So the Bitcoin price, based on the cost of production being 13,000, what we saw in each of these events is essentially that the price of Bitcoin went just below the cost of production. Just below. So, for instance, in 2018, cost of production was 3,200. The price went to 3,100. As a result of that, the likelihood is that Bitcoin will bottom at about 12 to 13,000. So I would say between 12 and 12,500. When that happens, we don't know. But this is going to be something that is part of the minor capitulation event. Because minor capitulation, this is a graph that shows the severity of minor capitulation in the last month. So when we hit a bottom for Bitcoin, which was 17,500, our local bottom obviously, then what we saw was a 1.5% capitulation from miners. What we had in 2018 was 3.5%. In COVID, 3%. What we had in June, what we had last month, where we saw the price of 17,500, is we actually saw a capitulation event that doesn't actually exceed much beyond last June, which was when the price went from 60k to 30k. That was a non-recession, non-macro-based event and went to 1.2%, and we were in a bull market. All right, so we have just about reached the same, or just exceeded the severity of the capitulation last year during a bull market. So during the last 2 bear markets, which was COVID, COVID happened during the bear market, and of course this was the ultimate bottom of the 2018 bear market, 3.5 to 3%. We're halfway there. So as far as I'm concerned, we have not yet had that minor capitulation event. And I think that minor capitulation could take the price just below the cost of production, because those are the exact points at which Bitcoin bottomed in the past. 1, 2, 3, 4 minor capitulation events, all where the Bitcoin price fell just below the cost of production. All right, so if there's ever been a better indicator, it's that, because people are saying this indicator, this pi cycle bottom indicator. Okay, so if you may have heard other YouTubers talking about it, this pi cycle indicator, which essentially you can overlay onto the Bitcoin price, and it will tell you when the pi cycle is flashing, and that indicates a bottom. In the past, this is apparently called the bottom of the 2015 and the 2018 bottom, and it has just flashed. It flashed a week ago, and it was around about the 19-20k mark, just for the price. Yeah, it was about the 19-20k mark that happened. All right. However, I like to do my research, so I was watching Alessio Rastani. He is, in my opinion, a very proficient technical analyst in Bitcoin, and this is what he had to say about the pi cycle indicator, because so many people are basically saying this is the gospel indicator for the bottom. All right, and we have hit the bottom. Okay, it's flashed, therefore there's not going to be any. The price of Bitcoin is never going to go lower than what we have seen, which is of course 17,500. So let's hear what Alessio Rastani had to say.
I think that based on what I'm seeing so far, and based on what I've read, again, from them themselves, it is quite likely that, again, this indicator has been curve fitted to fit exact previous bottoms, which unfortunately it means we cannot possibly know how this indicator will perform in the future.
Right, so what Alessio did very intelligently is he got this pi cycle formula and he extrapolated it over other assets. So what he believes the people who created the pi cycle, what he believes the people who created the pi cycle did was they tweaked they basically tweaked a load of data to make the indicator fit the bottoms. Okay, so what Alessio said was they were curve fitting. So they were tweaking it until the indicator flashed a bottom at the bottom date. Okay, so what happens is that this indicator did not exist before the bottoms were in. So they would not have predicted that the bottom would be hit in 2015 and 2018. They were tweaked post the bottoming events. So essentially, that would then potentially predict when the next pi cycle, when the next bottoming event would occur. Okay, so what he did was he not only found out that they tweaked the formula so that it would fit the bottom, but he also used it on the S&P 500, on Ethereum, and found that it was actually useless with the bottom, because when he put it over Ethereum, it actually showed Ethereum at a local high before it bottomed another 50%. So this pi cycle indicator has essentially, in my opinion anyway, been invalidated. So this pi cycle, I think, is a useless indicator. And therefore, I think that the minor capitulation number is a more reliable figure because it has actually called the bottom each time. And I've just shown you the date at which the cost of production was higher than the Bitcoin price and that it led to a Bitcoin bottom. All right, so I think this is a much better, more reliable way of seeing the Bitcoin bottom. And as a result of that, seeing what the Bitcoin bottom actually is, what the Bitcoin cost of production is, which is $13,000, then it's very, very likely that we are going to go to 12,000. And this is not even, again, just like the pi cycle indicator, just like other indicators that other technical analysts use, there is potential for the figure to be much worse. The reason why is because this is the first time Bitcoin is measured against a recession. So the likelihood is 12,000, 12 to 12,500 is merely a potential bottom, but it could go lower. It could go lower because we're in a recession, and when we're in a recession, there is going to be a concoction of various fantastically bearish events. So like we had very recently with Luna, Celsius, Voyager, and what was the other one? Three Arrows Capital. They all pretty much happen in conjunction. They set each other off, and as a result of that, it created a bottom. But there is potential for there to be other cascading events, other events which provide essentially a domino event, where one bad incident, let's say Bitcoin going below the cost of production, actually sets off a number of different liquidations, a number of different funds, exchanges, decoupling of depegging of tether. A large amount of bad scenarios can happen as a result of hitting that bottom figure. Therefore, taking the bottom figure potentially to below 13,000 to below 12,000, and actually we could be seeing a worst of 8,000, 10,000 to 8,000. All right, and that is what the guy who got me into cryptocurrency, RJ Rajendran, has said that he believes the price of Bitcoin is going to wick anyway to 7,000 to 8,000, and that is very, very likely based on the current conditions of the market. So, as a result of that, this is why I've not been making very regular videos. So you, I'm sure, would love to see me do videos like most other YouTubers, do videos every day, etc. But that's not really what I want to do, because I don't want to just make noise. I don't want to make noise for the sake of making noise. I want to be providing you with only the most useful information and new information that you know that when Suppoman comes on, you have something new and something potentially significant to use for your forward planning of buying cryptocurrency. So, just before I go into that, let me now say hi to people and see what you guys have got to say, because I realise I've been talking for quite some time. So let me just say hi to you guys and take some questions and carry on, of course. So, Roman, Roald, Shinji, Digital Sakura, Rob, Ella, Canna Startup, USA Local SEO, Ayman, Mohammed, Lyd, Lindsay, Patrick, Will, Lawrence13, Julian Tapia, Mohammed, Glinbert, Britcoin, Sammy Turnpike, Bernard, Marina, Dijan, Sando TV, Mivek, K-Size, Banana Man, Buddy Holidays, good to see you. NH, Aztec Warrior, Mr. Panda, Suja Hat, Matthew, Chris, Shahid, RKO, ding, 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 ding. Lisa Binner, good to see you, Lisa. I don't think I've seen you in ages. Thugger, My Agnes app. The graph hit all-time low today, 0.08 cents from a $2.84 all-time high. Any thoughts, DCA maybe? Right, okay, and that is what I was going to go into next, actually. So, what you don't need, so whether Bitcoin has bottomed, is going to bottom or not, what you don't need is for Bitcoin to bottom. All you need is for Bitcoin to show weakness, for altcoins to actually provide some very, very good entry points, okay? So look, NIA has gone down. This was like a whole dollar more expensive last week. It's now $3.80. Solana was $46 last week, now $34. Gala is going now much lower. This was 5 cents last month when everything was going really, really badly. So you don't need Bitcoin to be bottoming at all. We're at 2,500, actually 3,500. The price of Bitcoin is 3,000 higher than it was when Gala was at 3,000 lower than it is now when Gala was at 5 cents. So it just goes to show that Bitcoin being weak, going up, going down, but altcoins not necessarily having the same trajectory up and therefore down. Gala has not really gone up, but it has gone down further. So you don't need for Bitcoin to hit bottoms, but when Bitcoin does, over the course of time, inevitably hit bottoms and lower lows than it's hit right now, then the likelihood is you are going to be able to get really fantastical prices. And this is why I'm waiting. I'm not buying. I'm not in a hurry to buy. I don't believe that the cost. I don't believe that the profit from entry today is a good enough long-term overall profit. So I am just happy to wait. It's not financial advice. I'm not recommending to you you should follow it or not. I am just simply saying what I am doing, and that is that I am waiting for greater bottoms to hit. And there may be occasions where it doesn't happen. So, for instance, optimism has gone up nicely with the growth of Polygon and the growth of Ethereum and Ethereum-based assets. Optimism being very, very close to Ethereum in terms of scaling and being one of the major scaling solutions that run in conjunction with Polygon has provided. So Polygon provided essentially the sidechain, the plasma scaling solution, and Optimism provides the optimistic roll-up technology, which is essentially a way of bundling a massive amount of transactions into one transaction and therefore achieving scale. So as a result, that Optimism has gone up massively. I bought this at about 49 to 52 cents, and it's gone up huge. But I do think it's going to roll back. Elrond, this again was taken to over $60, now brought back. So the graph, I'm not a massive fan of the graph. The graph is not really the kind of technology that I am that interested in. But you make a very, very good point. The graph is massively down. In fact, it'd be better to look at... Have I got it on here? I don't think I do, actually. I think I took off my all-time high price index. Yeah, I think I have. So, ATH coin index. Let's have a look at the graph. This is just a quicker way, instead of going to coin market cap, of just seeing the fall from grace. So 97% roughly. So July 13th, that was a couple of days ago. So that has gone down a huge amount. If you believe in the technology, this really is a fantastic time to get into it. The volume's huge, 33.8 million. That's good, for this level. I would say that's very high in market cap. What the hell? So let me just look at the graph. Let me just provide a bit more of a... It's gone up to 9 now. Let me just have a look and see what the market cap was when... So it hit its all-time high. Well, it says 235 here. 235. Last year, during DeFi season. 13th of February. So what was the price on the 13th of February? The market cap. Yeah. So the market cap was 2.92 billion when it was $2.80, and it's gone down like. Let me have a look. Divided by 8. So it's gone down 35x, but but if we have a look and see how much the market cap has gone down, 2.92 billion to 9,000 million billion divided by 35. This should be 82. What? This makes no sense. No, wait a minute. Let's take 10 off. Yeah, this should be 82 million, but it's 646. So they've obviously added a shitload of circulating supply since then. So it skews it totally. So this is the danger of getting into high inflation coins. That's very high inflation. They've obviously added a lot of circulating supply since it was at 284. And that dilution is what has helped trigger a bigger sell-off in the graph. So it looks as if the max supply is 10 billion, it looks as if we're 70% of the way there now. So maybe a good time to get in, I don't know. But yeah, this has been heavily diluted. It's been heavily inflated. So yeah, I don't like it personally. And I think this is just the danger when people don't know the inflation. Thoughts on Pond and Lunar Classic burn plan? I don't actually know of anything with Lunar Classic. All I know is that I bought at the bottom and I'm just going to leave it. And I very much doubt it's ever going to touch that again. I don't know about the burn plan, so I can't actually say. But what I can tell you, though, is that Pond is definitely having a good market right now. You know, the volume is double, nearly, the market cap, which is pretty amazing. 1.75 to 1 on market cap. So Marlin finally having some bullishness. So what had this gotten to as a low then? Let's have a gander. 0.006. Oh, that would have been a good buy. Yeah, 0.006 was a good one. So when was that? 2 months ago. Yeah, so it's massively up from then. So yeah, you know, Pond I think is good. I've maintained that I think that Pond is very much a crypto that hasn't yet had its narrative. It's very, very similar to Cosmos and Polkadot. It's a layer 0 cryptocurrency. And in fact, Marlin was the first layer 0 in the market. There was no layer 0 before that. When I introduced Marlin, I think it was about spring 2019, which was when I invested in Marlin at ICO. I definitely introduced it as the first in the layer 0 narrative. Now you've got Polkadot and all that, and they've of course taken market share. But you know, the people behind Marlin, the people who invested in Marlin, and the people that the venture capitalists that will assist Marlin are the same ones that assisted Polygon. And Polygon took a long time, you know, kind of to get warmed up. So if we just have a look at Marlin's price history, yeah, it definitely started. It started in a bull market and DeFi season. When it came out and it exploded out of the blocks. It's since come down heavily. But if we have a look, Matic had pretty much the same thing. 2019, it started well, went down. You can't see it now because it's like a tiny blip. But it started well, went down, it's consolidated for about 2-3 years, and then bang, and then it had its time. So I imagine the same could happen for Marlin, you never know. Buddy Holidays, thanks Michael, keeping us focused. Question, could we hit economic depression instead of only a recession in 2023? What will happen to crypto? It's very likely. There are lots of commentary and lots of pundits being offered. Lots of pundits offering commentary at the moment, saying that, you know, we're likely to have a very fast recession and that we're going to be in a lower inflation rate relatively soon and go back to 2-3%. after a quite fast and harsh recession, and there are others that are saying it's likely to be a depression lasting 2 years. We don't know. I don't think we're ever going to really know, because this kind of stuff is really known by the 1% of the 1%. You know, it's kind of like kept under wraps. We never know the true and full story. All we know is what's being fed to us via the media, and that's all we can really know. Unless we're in the top 1% of the 1%, you're never really going to know way before it happens. You're just going to be lied to, and then the reality is going to happen around you, and it's going to be too late by the time you find out. So we don't really know. However, I am bracing myself for a good 2 years of no bull market, no real bullishness, no incredible, massive gains in that time. We may have some, mini seasons, but I don't foresee we're going to have a bull market for 2 years. I don't think we're going to have a bull market until 2024, if I'm honest with you. But thank you very much for the question, and I do think that the next couple of years, I don't think there's any hurry to get crypto at a rock bottom price, because I really do think that, let's look at this, okay? So SEC are now probing Coinbase. They're investigating Coinbase for listing securities. They're already investigating Coinbase because they've had some instances of insider trading, where essentially I think it was 2 or 3 traders, former Coinbase traders, knew about listings, invested, made 1.4 million in profit, which actually is pretty poor. You'd think they would have made way more in profits. But anyway, it has led to a now wider investigation into cryptocurrencies. Now the SEC are saying a number of cryptocurrencies. So they have mentioned that 9 cryptocurrencies are securities, which include Power Ledger, Rally, which is actually a Coinbase invested cryptocurrency, AMP, XYODDX. I don't really know what most of these are. LCX. What's LCX? I know that one. LCX. Oh, it's just LCX. So anyway, yeah. So what's DDX? Oh, Derivative. So yeah. So it's saying that a number of them are already securities, and this opens up the what's it called? It opens up the what's the legal term? Opens up the floodgates. So what this basically is allowing for is for the SEC to pass judgment on more and more cryptocurrencies. So the likelihood is they are going to be looking at a lot of cryptocurrencies, calling them securities. It's going to lead to potential delistings on American exchanges. It's going to lead to certain exchanges probably going out of business. It's going to lead to insolvency. It's going to lead to potentially another wave of fantastically bearish events. I think that in cryptocurrency, we're very, very impatient. We want the top to come now. We want the bottom to come now. People think, right, we flash crashed 17.5. That must be the bottom, because that is a 80% decrease from the top. So therefore, it's definitely a bottom at this point. And people are just like, right, they've written off any chance of another bottoming event. They've written off any chance of another big cascading event, like what happened with Celsius, Luna, and Voyager, and there was something else. All happened at once. And they're just not considering there's going to be more. There's going to be more. There's definitely going to be more, because bearish narratives are rife during a bear market, and people are looking for any excuse to sell, short, or long, or buy, right? And as a result of that, anything that fuels any of those activities in an extreme way is going to lead to, maybe some rallies, but also some more bottoms. And where we sit right now, which is 20,800, we are at the lower side of where we have been. Okay, so we've gotten this low at 17.5, but we're only 2.5, we're only 3,000 off that now. We are still teetering on this cliff edge where we could fall off the edge and just fall into much lower lows. Until we move way in excess of where we are now, move into 30-40 region, where we provide a bit of a buffer between the price and the bottom, then I don't foresee that there's going to be that anybody should be anybody should be disregarding a bottoming event at all. And I think people who are doing so are very dangerously buying. Yes, there is an argument that right now is a good time to buy versus where the price will be in the future. It's a little bit like buying in May 2018. All right, so if I just find BLX again. So it's a little bit like buying like here. In my opinion, it's a bit like buying here. You know, around about $7,000, right? But the price still went to $3,000. All right, so yes, yeah, it's still good versus the long term. Like if you look at where Bitcoin got to versus this area here, it went all the way up here, 70k from 6k, fantastic. You know, return on investment. But if you bought here, it doubles the gains. Okay, you get a double pretty much instantly. So if you wait, you can get a double on your gains for Bitcoin alone, and Bitcoin gives diminishing returns. Therefore, for altcoins, you are likely to get them at a 60, 70, 80% discount from where they are now. Because if Bitcoin falls 50%, which I do foresee could happen, I mean, look at where this bottom indicator from the minor capitulation figure, where that sits right now, the price goes down to there, then you're going to see altcoins absolutely crash and burn. And in conjunction with the SEC calling any crypto a security right now, then you are likely to have altcoins bleeding out bad. Which means that you can potentially buy them at their rock bottom price and increase your chance of getting 100x, even for some of the best cryptocurrencies, not just the ones that are like micro caps. John James Powell, your words are so strong, believe big time. Thank you very much, John. Stephen, thanks, Suppoman. Zornitza, good to see you. Stefan, Nazos, Craig, Blake, Tiger, Rohit, Keonta, Jonas, Chris. We needed a recession badly anyways. Yeah, we did. I mean, if we're going to be honest with ourselves, you know, yes, we'd love to be in a permanent bull cycle, okay? We'd love to be just permanently going up forever, right? Which we are to an extent. If you look at it deeply, you zoom out, we go up, down, up, down. So we go up 2 steps, back 1 step, up 2 steps, back 1 step, up 2 steps, back 2. We needed an event, a reset event, in both the stock market and the crypto market. Not really in the crypto market. We certainly needed it in the stock market. Like, there was always going to be a chance the everything bubble burst. You know, with all the exuberance of 2020 and 2021, which exacerbated what was already a bull market for the last 10 years for stocks, there needed to be a severe correction, something that was a reset that balanced the world again, that people who hadn't got in could get in essentially at prices that people were getting in 5 years ago. All right, so we needed a reset. It needed to happen. It's like when you have had almost the weather is too hot and there needs to be a purge. There needs to be a rainstorm. It's essentially like Florida. What needed to happen was essentially Florida. Florida have insanely hot weather, but then they have these periods of half an hour to an hour where it's thunderstorms and lightning and rain to freshen the environment. All right, and that is what's happening right now. We needed that, and it needs to happen. And yes, it's a bad thing for those of us who are hodlers, but at the same time, if you've got some disposable income right now, then it's going to be a fantastic equalizer this period. And you know, the people who said to me, "Oh, Suppo, you got in 2017. You got in, you know, when prices were unbelievably low." Now people are going to have a chance to basically be on par with that. Who doesn't wait for a nice bottom, am I right? From NH, yes, who doesn't? I mean, a good bottom, I think we all, you know, kind of, in a way, fantasize over. Anyway, hey Suppo, what's the safest CEX after Binance, please? I don't know, really. I really would only use Binance of any. That's the only one I think would be safe. Probably not even Coinbase. What's your buy zone for Gala? So my buy zone should be here, 1.5 to 2 cents. Yeah, I'd say those were where I would start dollar cost averaging anyway. But based on where we are at the moment, we could easily see Gala going down a bit more. Just based on where Bitcoin, let's just play Mystic Mike on the prices right now. Okay, so where could the prices go? So if we're honest with ourselves, Binance Coin could go down to about $70. XRP, it's going to be contingent on whether it wins this case or not, when that ever will happen, which I don't think it will. But it's still going to happen for a while, I don't think. Probably not for another 6 to 10 months, if it ever happens. We'll probably go down to about 8 cents. Cardano, probably go down to about 10, 12 cents. Solana, $10. Polkadot, $1 to maybe $2. Maybe a bit more, $1.50 to $2. Polygon, it may be too strong with the current narrative, but this could also go down to about 30 cents. Avalanche could go down to about $4. There's a lot of Chainlink could go down to $1.50 to $2. ApeCoin could do very similar. Could go down to about $1, $1.50. We have to wait, and this is the blue chips. This is not even looking at some of the micro caps. Like micro caps, I think are going to get absolutely wasted. Should it get much, much worse, which I think it will. So we get a high risk. Star Atlas, look at that. 0.7 of a cent. It's 70% of 1 cent. It's ridiculous. Let's have a look at that, where this was at its highest. At its highest, it was like, it was like 28 cents. And now it's nearly half a cent. Unbelievable. Nearly 50x down. So I think a lot of these are going to get decimated. So these in particular, I think, are going to be the hardest hit during this period. What about Everdome? Very similar. I love Everdome, and I think it's a great metaverse. Mirror Protocol price prediction. I don't know Mirror Protocol. Is Mirror Protocol the like synthetics? It's like synthetic assets and stuff. Let's have a go. I think Mirror Protocol had really good investors, actually. Let me just have a... I don't want to be on too long. Let's have a look at Mirror Protocol. Investors. Oh, Binance Labs, Polychain, Arrington and Kinetic, Pantera. Look at these. These are 5 powerhouses. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 Premier tier and one tier 1 right there. And we're talking about 15 million market cap, and we're looking at very good volume based on its market cap, essentially 50% of its market cap. So that's excellent, in my opinion. That looks great. Circulating, though, is a fifth of its max supply. I don't know how the inflation works, but it looks like there's going to be a lot of dilution coming for it. This has been $12.8. Mirror will definitely have been hit by... The website's not even working. Mirror would definitely have been hit by regulation problems. I think I remember something about Mirror being hit by regulations, or regulators anyway. Let me have a look. Mirror. Mirror Protocol sued the SEC. Yeah, so I think there was something. Yeah, right. US SEC files enforcement action against Mirror Protocol. So I knew there was something regulatory about that. And the website's not even working now. So it may have been killed off, a lot in a similar way to Convergence. And they weren't allowed to release the product that they actually wanted to release, which was the securities exchange. However, I don't know if this is going to be... However, what I will say is, as you all know, one of my top picks, Moonbeam, there is going to be a way to essentially expedite the halving process of the price. So I have said to you that the price I'm looking to get Moonbeam at is about 25 cents. So what is happening is currently at 62 cents. What is happening is that Convergence are going to be doing a offering. I IDO, I suppose. I don't really know how you would describe it, but they're going to be allowing you to buy discounted Moonbeam. It's going to be initially classed as fractional glimmer, so F glimmer, and then after a year, it's going to be essentially redeemable as glimmer, right? So you're going to be able to buy glimmer or Moonbeam at 32.5 cents. 32.5 cents, which is just 7 cents away from my optimal buy price. So I am most definitely getting into convergence for that. So I have already got a number of, I've already got like way over 100,000 convergent state. You need to have 100,000 convergent state to get the premium offering of Moonbeam, which I think is $1,000. And then you get the public offering if you are staking convergence, and that is about $300. So yeah, so I'm hopeful to be able to get, maybe, who knows, I don't know really how it works, but probably about $1,300 worth of Moonbeam at 32 cents, which based on its all-time high price, so if I was to, so it's 50, let's have a look. So one of its local highs was about $6, right? And that was in April this year. So 1,300 divided by $6, you would have got 216 Moonbeam for $1,300. So if you just waited like I did, obviously, as you'll know, because I've only bought a little bit of Moonbeam at this point, at 32.5, 1,300 will buy 4,000. That 4,000, should 4,000 turn into $6 again, will be worth 24,000. So I personally think that's a fantastic deal. Now, if Moonbeam was to go to, $60, which it could in the next bull run, that could be $240,000. So $1,300 worth of Moonbeam via convergence could lead to you being able to shortcut a way of getting $240,000 worth of Moonbeam for the top of the next cycle. Best case scenario, probably. And that is just 1,300. You can use another, if Moonbeam does go down to 25 cents, then you can use another 5,000 buying Moonbeam at that price. But this is your banker, essentially. So you're able to get this prior to any bearish events that take Moonbeam down to eventually 32 cents or lower. So I think, personally, that's, Anyway, that was... but anyway, price prediction for Mirror Protocol? I don't know, Donnie. I couldn't say without knowing the token release module, without knowing how bad the reputational damage it's taken from the SEC case. So I couldn't say. But I would... It looks like a very, very good protocol. But if it's got massive PR issues, then it's probably never going to happen. Next project you'll be investing in, no matter the market... I don't know. It's difficult to say. This is a salivating type. Hey, Captain Super. Oh, Wanye West, good to see you. Superman, is this the best time to farm? That's up to you. I am not much of a farmer, if I'm honest with you. Do you think Sandbox compares to Mutable X? It's not the same thing at all. Are Sandbox bringing out their own chain? Let me just have a look. I'm not sure if they are. No, it's just purely on Ethereum. There's one I'm sure that I've heard is going to be. No. Oh yeah, yes. Polygon they're partnered up with, but they're not the same kind of project as Immutable X. Immutable X is essentially optimism for NFTs, for Ethereum NFTs. So it's different. And at the moment, I have not looked. I must admit, I have not looked to see how NFTs are doing. Let me have a look quickie. And the look. God, mutant apes are higher than other deed. That's hilarious. Floor price 16.4. Where is Bored Ape? Floor price 85. I bet that probably translates to 100k, right? Let's just have a look and see what the cheapest Bored Ape is. I think the cheapest Bored Ape is essentially like looking at the price of Bitcoin. So if you want to know the barometer of health in the crypto landscape, you will look at Bitcoin. If you want to look at the barometer of health in the NFT landscape, you'll probably look at Bored Apes. So 85 is 117. So actually, it's gone up a bit. So when Ethereum was $1,000, the lowest price I saw was 99 Ethereum. So that would have been $99,000 essentially. So yeah. So NFTs, I haven't looked at them, but I would definitely be looking to bottom buy NFTs when a Bitcoin bottom should happen. What's the lowest rank on CMC that you would go for? Difficult to say, because some cryptos aren't properly ranked on CMC because it's not got its market cap on, but it could be a good project. But I don't know. I couldn't really say. Okay, I think that's it. I don't see any other super chat. Oh yeah, here we go. What are your thoughts on Luxo from Toby Winder? Oh shit, I've missed a few super chats here. Okay, bear with me. I will get to those. So panic not, Monfrere. Luxo. I've never really been into Luxo, if I'm honest with you. $5.77, 87 million market cap. Very shit volume. Very shit. For the market cap it is, it's terrible volume. So I wouldn't touch it personally. Does it have much of a future? You have to be at one with the community, which I'm not. I don't have a clue really what they do. Welcome to the multiverse. Open and interoperable blueprint for phygital and digital. NFT 2.0. Yeah, this was cool. Last April, I'm sure. Let me have a look. I bet you the high was last April. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, last roughly. Well, last March. Yeah, so it was good back then, and even during the bull market in November, it was kind of nowhere. It was kind of nowhere, actually. Like, the best it had achieved was... Hold on. I was looking at it completely wrong. No, it was actually November that was stupid. See, how dates work in the UK is you would have 2/11/2022, 2021. But this is US dating, so it's 11/2. So, yeah, so actually, yeah, it had its best moment back here. And this was the time when NFTs were doing very well, very, very well, actually. And market cap-wise, it got up to 600. Yeah, so it's not gone down hugely compared to that. But the circulating supply is tiny compared to its max supply. Like, only 15% has been released of it. So you've possibly got a situation where you're going to have really diluted supply. But I don't know. I couldn't tell you for sure. All I can tell you is I wouldn't invest in this. There's way better investments, but I'm not in the community, so I couldn't really say. Okay, so from RNG Crypto, are you buying Gala film nodes? For Gala film nodes? What the hell is that? I obviously know about the founder nodes, but I don't know about the film nodes. How to get a film node? Just film scenes. I don't really get it. I don't really get it. So I'd have to look into that. I couldn't say. Galaverse San Diego. It's obviously a big part of their ecosystem, but I am not at all knowledgeable on Watch to Earn. All right, so it seems like it's a passive it's a node. It's a passive income node strategy of Watch to Earn. Gala film is coming. What can Web3 do? Yada yada yada. I gotta admit, this part does not excite me. I'm more into the game element, but I will look into that. I'll look into it. Part of being Yeah, I want to be a bigger investor in Gala, and of course that requires having more knowledge of what the wider ecosystem's doing. So I'll have a look into that. So yeah, okay. Well, thank you very much for that one, RNG Crypto, and thank you for the $5 as well, Vitali Revtiuk. What do you think if I have 15,000 USD in Elrond now? Can I become a millionaire in 2 years? Elrond is a store of value, which you're not really going to get. You're not going to get its inflationary benefits for another 8 years. So I would say that I would look to a longer term view for Elrond. Now, it's $49 now. So 15,000 divided by 49. So you get 306. 306 times, let's say, the 500 it got to as an all-time high, $154. If it gets to $1,000, which could happen, and the next cycle, no, essentially, no, you couldn't. The way to do it would be to use that $15,000. Should this get to $18, then you get 833. 833 times 1,000. You're closer. You're closer. So yeah. So wait for a discount if you're going to be using that much capital for the next 2 years. I think it's going to get decimated. It's going to require a lot more. It's not going to happen in 2 years anyway. Like in 2 years, I think it's probably going to get to about kind of where it is now. You know, I think that what is the prices now will probably be the recovery prices on the way back up to a bull market. So, yeah, I would wait. I would wait, Vitali. I can remember in 2017 you thought Ant shares would go to 1,000 in 2018. Yeah, and, you know, it could have done that. It could have done that. But unfortunately, like most cryptos, you have to stay on top of the marketing game. And Neo took like 4 years to release Neo 3.0. So as a result of that, they lost relevance compared to like the likes of Solana, Avalanche, you know, Near, and a lot of the layer ones of that period just kind of got swallowed. So yeah, they kind of fucked up. But they've got decent investing still. Any clue about Lossless? I don't know Lossless, if I'm honest with you. So I couldn't really say. Let me have a look. How am I doing for timings? 1 hour 2. Okay, I better go. Better go very shortly. Lossless looks like a sack of shit to me. That's terrible volume. You know, at that kind of market cap, I would be expecting 1 million at least if it was, you know, decent. But it doesn't look like it's decent. It looks like it's part of shit. Anything else? Let me have a look. No, it doesn't look like it. Hey there, Ashcroft. Any good? Yeah, it's good. But at the same time, it's been highly inflated, which has pissed me off a lot. Any thoughts on Eco, my Suppo? It was one of the darlings of DeFi and NFT season last year. I think it's kind of lost its momentum. You know, you had CryptoPunks, you had Bored Apes, and then subsequently you had a whole metaverse world opening up, meaning that the likes of Ecomai just kind of died, a little bit like Refinable and other platforms that didn't make the transition from having high hype to blue chip. It just didn't make the transition. Fucked up, basically. Right, okay, so I think that is it. I don't see any other real questions, except for... Yeah, I don't see any other real questions. A lot of people saying about Bluezilla. You know, launchpads are not good in bear markets. Okay, so you know it started off with a lack of projects, and now there's just no projects at all. I'm not seeing any projects coming out of Bluezilla at the moment. Nothing. So yeah, it's just it's basically sinking. What do you think about Cult and Revolt? Yeah, pretty good actually. Rumors big crash coming in 48 hours. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Right, okay, people. So there you have it. You've had a lot of information put forward your way. Hopefully, a lot of knowledge that you can use to build your own self-knowledge and be able to make the best kind of calls in this market. That's what I attempt to do with every stream, is to teach you what I am looking at in terms of how am I making investment decisions, and just give all of that to you in a 1 hour stream, so that you can use that 1 hour very productively. It's 1 hour of teaching as well as hearing what my thoughts are as to why I think prices are going to go down much more. A lot of people kind of say, "Oh, I don't think the bottom's it," but they're not consistent with their messaging. Like, there are some pundits I listen to. Gareth Soloway's one of them, who 1 minute is saying 13,000, the next is saying 30, 40,000. It's like, it doesn't make sense, a lot of other people in the market. So, I listen to them for entertainment, educational purposes, but I think you really get true value here, a more consistent messaging. Anyway, people, I love you all. You've been fantastic. I've been the Suppoman. I look forward to seeing you next time. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe. If you haven't yet, make sure you press the like. We've only got 300 likes, but 500 people. If you can smash the like, that would be very much appreciated. And I will see you next time, you lovely people. It is like